Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Human beings, today we are going to look at fitna. Fitna is a practice which is commonly used in countries which kind of degrades fellow human beings as either commodities of trade or subject to humiliation and degradation. Subject to humiliation and desecration of anyone's human rights. But this practice of fitna or kafara, in the Middle East they call this practice kafara. Fitna is something hidden under the whatever of kafara. But it's widely very common in one of the countries which are very, very openly and widely practiced is India. India, Bangladesh, and Pakistan, Afghanistan. That's why most of the time you hear the Americans and the Europeans drumming the drum about these practices. But however, we even know that Americans and Europeans drum about human rights abuse in Afghanistan or Pakistan. India is always kept out of the picture, but it's one of the most deadliest places for a human being to live. And Bangladesh, these two countries, Bangladesh and India, they have practiced kafara practices, a practice or the fitna practice. I think the entire existence of the India's existence, these people have lived under that account of exposing fellow human beings to humiliation as well as desecration of dignities, that dignities which are given to every living human beings by natural birthrights. But in India, it's not like that. For instance, if you're born in India and your skin kind of reflects a dark tone in it, you are classified automatically as a kafara. Can you imagine? You are an Indian by birth, your parents and your ancestors are Indian, but because of there is a dark kind of reflection in your skin, you are classified as a kafara or someone who is not Indian. You may even find it difficult to get an Indian passport if you looked other than not white. Can you imagine that? So that way I wanted to highlight some of these that my people, especially human beings, many Indians do not understand who I am and what I am to human beings on this planet, and many other people around the world. My people, I would remind every living human being that you are all Muslims on this planet. You are all living Muslims on this planet. Whether you like to hear that or not, but that is the way it is, and it always be like that. With that, today I will not talk like as if I've gone to ask for whatever. I'll talk like an angry beast. I'll put myself in a class of a beast. What kind of a beast? That a beast that took out the dinosaurs. Dinosaurs were classified as giants. So the beast said, "Oh no, you say you are dinosaurs. I'm a beast who can take out a dinosaur." When we say take out, who destroyed the dinosaurs? So my people, I want to remind, as I said, I remind men and women that we are all Muslims, conceived and given and arrived on this planet as you pure Muslims. When you turn around and say, "Oh, we, because of our skin and the color of our skin, we are this and that," it's haram. That's what we call fitna. fitna or the kafara practice in the European way, it's slavery. You slave someone to an ideology that classify that individual as a low person or lowest of the low. Why? Yeah, I'll give you an example of what is a fitna and what it means to your 5-year little beautiful daughter whom you say, she's a princess. Huh? You have a little girl, 5-year-old little girl, and she's classified as a princess. Huh? Whereas a man, because let's say we are in India now, because the reason why I started with India, these practices of fitna and the kafara and practices of fitna are majorly within the continent of India, or not the continent, but the place called India and Bangladesh, all the way to Afghanistan, Pakistan, those areas. Those are many. There are many who have black skin in Pakistan, but they will never even sit in the parliament of Pakistan. They are not classified as Pakistanis. The same applies to India. You never see a black man, you see a black-skinned man sitting on the cabinet, whatever, of the Indian cabinet member or parliament or whatever. Why? Why do you think that is so? Because by birth, once your skin depicts a darker color, you are classified as a kafara. And this kind of being, whatever, has been exported from India to in places where the Indians go. If they go to Britain, they will export that kind of mentality and sickness to Europe. They export it to Dubai. They will export it anywhere, wherever they are. Why? It's a sickness in the brain. It's a sickness. Because if you are to put there a European, a man born by birthright as a white man, and you put a white-skinned Indian man next to him, you find that a white-skinned Indian man kind of dances, says he knows how to dance with the devil more than a white man who is basically clearly explained as a white man. So the Indian will say, I can make a man born as a man become a woman. I'm a doctor, I can make a man born naturally as a man, but I can, whatever, make him become a woman. If another foolish whatever comes out of me, yeah, okay, I am born a woman, but sometimes I feel like a woman. Can you surgically make it possible? That kind of shows you the category of minds that can work with one another in a drunken state, unconscious state, and they become what you call drunken foolishness. So where I was trying to go is that to tell men the practices of fitna and the kafara practice are very, very deadly to human beings because they involve a lot of things. In those practices, there's stalking. Stalking is a practice which is widely practiced or kind of practiced by governments and institutions. Take, for instance, medical agencies, pharmaceutical agencies. A pharmaceutical agency would stalk monkeys in order to test their medicine on those monkeys. They would stalk rats in order to test their whatever, their so-called medicine on rats. These are what we call, these institutions, over the years in the 11th centuries, they've developed very deadly ways to kind of distort the truth by any means possible, if necessary. That includes stalking of Mother Nature, stalking of every other man who says, "Oh, my people," these kind of practices are against our natural ability to survive on this planet. The natural ability to survive on this planet is that there are rules and regulations that govern human beings. And those rules or regulations or law, divine holy laws, we are laid down by the most holy glorified Manala, the creator who created the grass that a cow eats, because a cow can only eat grass. If you are to say you give a cow meat, as the Europeans try to do, the cow ended up contracting what you call mad cow disease. So it is in the mind of every human being to recognize that deviating and conjecturing ways of to suit your desires and lusts can destroy the entire planet. Just like that. Huh? Because when Mother Nature or the environment says, oh, what is going on, human beings, instead of kind of saying, oh, did we go anywhere? Did we go wrong somewhere? They say, we put our whatever on Mother Nature. That's when men say, today is we are in the new year. Men are working out how are we going to go through the next 365 days rotating around the sun. Are we going to keep manufacturing new weapons? I mean, they call it advancing in new technologies. Because if you are to be in the outer space, anything that moves within the coil, within the space of the solar system, let's say on the line or whatever, the rotational whatever cycle, the rotational kind of, they call it, do we call it latitude, whatever, that on which the mother planet Earth rotates, and the next is Mars and so on. 5 of those whatever are kind of contaminated and polluted with all sorts of dirty things that if you are an alien and you were traveling in that space, if you're not careful, you would find that every gun, that every so-called weapon that human beings can manufacture is pointed at anything moving within that space. If you are not careful. So, for centuries and as time can tell, aliens have visited planet Earth to warn men that human beings, you are all Muslims, the same way we in outer space, we are Muslim, we work as a whatever to keep this gigantic universe in unity, not war. In unity, not war. But if you move around the coil, the solar system of planet Earth, every other gun, whether it is leather, whether you name it, is pointed at anything that moves in outer space. I usually look at what you call the space station. The space station in that men they sent in order to be able to study the outer space or what is going on in space. I usually pass by it maybe 24 times or 30 times or whatever time as I want. And I can easily knock on their door and say, hey, you little things, how are you doing today? So with that, men forget that we have an upper hand over them. That means even the air that goes into the lungs of men is our property. We, the universe, not a human being's property, because if you are in a space station, you cannot breathe anything else other than what you are accustomed on planet Earth, which is oxygen. Whereas we out there, because our language is one, is Islam, we can use any means to be able to survive very easily. But when men are in the space, they call it ISIS, the space station, when they land back on Earth, they cannot even lift their legs. They're disabled. So, my people, I'm trying to send a warning to men, especially agencies that are using the kafara practices where you use conjectured ways to disable and antagonize every act of respect to life of every living creation on planet Earth, whereby men have used agencies, pharmaceutical agencies, cosmetic agencies, whatever they can lay their hands on, to cause mayhem in the minds of men by saying, your direction is this. Our way here in America is Pentecost. The Chinese are at war with us. They're developing so fast, so they're a threat to us. Where does that fit? In you sleeping in your bed in America? If you don't want to go to China, no one forces you. If you go to China, every Chinese will say, welcome to China. Welcome to China. Sorry about that. If you have to go to Africa as an American, every man will say, welcome to Africa. But if you have to go from Africa to America, before you call once you put your passport on the desk, they'll say, have you got a visa? I'll check, where did you get this visa? Is it genuine or you are a man trespassing in our land? Which land is that? Is it in, which continent is it? Which planet is it on? And what language do you speak, by the way? Do you eat super burgers, super hamburgers? How? Are they organic or they are kind? I don't want to get into that direction. I just want to put your minds in it. Stop this business of dividing men into categories, disrespecting and abusing the beauty of Mother Nature. We are all Muslims. You are all Muslims. Those in outer space and those on planet Earth. If you say you wage a war between us and the rest of humanity, me as the sun in the sky, if I say I want to come and sit on America or India or anywhere, I think no one can pull me away from there until I say, have you heard how beautiful and hot I am? If I have to say such a question. Or if Mother Planet says, he is what we call a hurricane or an earthquake. So do not manufacture weapons. That's the warning I leave on the table. To manufacture those weapons, I'll make them kind of, you instead of manufacturing it, whatever, I'll show you that let the weapons drink you as they drink. You drink water in a glass. I'll make weapons that you manufacture every other day, that you are advancing in whatever. I'll make those weapons kind of drink you as whatever. You that people who don't understand that life is a religion. And that most beautiful religion is Islam. If you want to be respected wherever you are on this planet, respect the religion from which we are created. Not to desecrate the beauty that every woman or every man, every woman looks in the mirror. And she produces a 5-year little girl, the one either from Tanzania or Kenya or whatever. If you want to take those children and say, our kind of way of life here in Kenya is our 2 little month babies got AIDS. Yes, if you are reckless enough and disobey the holy divine, your daughter will be 2 months old and she will have AIDS. Well, as Allah says, do not commit adultery, otherwise things like that are likely to happen if you do commit adultery. And you might end up contracting AIDS, and your little 2-month-old daughter too will have AIDS. I don't want to go into that direction. I just warn men, keep within the bounds, the perimeters that governs human beings. You are all Muslims. We may turn these trees that you harvest, whatever you eat on, into enemies to humanity. If that happens, man, you find it very difficult to pick an apple anywhere on this planet, or an orange, or a mango. I'll go back at the tallest mountain in the world and put my foot on top of it and ask men, what kind of a letter does it look like if you had to point a camera at the highest peak of Mountain Everest? Does it look like a letter A? What does letter A stand for? Allah, Alpha and Omega, Allah Akbar. Is the mountain Everest the tallest or the biggest? If it is the biggest, yes, it's the tallest. Then Allah is the most holy, glorified Almighty, and his religion is Islam. India, do not call the wrath of Allah when you engage in practices of kafar and fitting against either a black Indian man who was born Indian by parents of Indian, descendants Indian, and he cannot sit in the parliament of India because of the color of his skin. Me who is talking to you, I always cover every one of you under my wing when what you call the night comes. Whether you're black or white Indian, I say, this is my black coat. Enter it. If you don't desecrate my beauty, you might come out a kind of health. If you say, it is a black man covering us, yes, you might end up drowning in the Ganges. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.